My name is Gavan, born in Alberta, Canada, raised in Punjab, India, and then Toronto adopted me in 2007. You can imagine the identity crisis, to the point I had suicidal thoughts back in 2018. And the key ingredients to my transformation was being authentic, trusting, connecting, and eventually traveling. My traveling journey started earlier this year with Tulum, Mexico. And I'm here to share my journey from a monologue to a dialogue. So yes, there was a point in 2018 where my mind took over and I was in a dark place. I was jobless, I was homeless, all my doing, no one to be blamed at that time. And to a point, because living in a city, what I realized that it really consumed me. Consumed me in a way was that I was judging myself constantly, or I was getting judgments from others, or I was comparing myself with others. And then there were family pressures. And then it came to a point that the worst is that when you start judging yourself. Because then, like, who's taking care of you? You know, like if the whole world is judging you and now you're judging you as well, like that's the worst thing you can do. And that's exactly what was happening. And I remember that day I had my backpacks with me. Now I have lived at my cousin's couch and I couldn't stay there anymore because he couldn't understand me, why things I'm doing the way I'm doing. And fair enough. You know, if you see someone picking up the money, I picked up the money in front of him and crumbled it, and I said, I don't give a fuck about money. While he's telling me that, yo, you need to do something. Go find a job. You know, you need to bring your life back. But I'm like, nah, I don't want to go back to it. I really want to follow my passion. I have this dream, and I want to be an actor. I want to be an entertainer. I want to start my own YouTube channel. But sometimes in this society, those are not the right things to think about in a way that it will give you the stability, because that's the thought process around it. And agreed, you know, it's not going to pay your bills instantly. It takes time to build up. And maybe he was putting some sense in me at that time, but I wasn't willing to listen. So I leave his place. I live in a hostel for a week. And now I'm in a hostel trying to start vlogging or something on YouTube to just share how I'm feeling. And now, not funny, but funny is that I'm already sad. And now I'm recording me being sad. And now you see me being sad, watching myself sad. And next thing you know, I'm just crying. Like the tears are just coming out. And again, I'm self-negative talk. I have the videos. And all of this experience, me having that first interview with you, it actually made me revisit. I went to my phone and I was able to see, I'm like, what exactly happened? I think in my first interview, I said that when I was about to have suicidal thoughts, my cousin sent me a message, but it wasn't him. When I was sitting in my thoughts and thinking that, hey, if I just jump right now, I can end it all of this misery I'm feeling. But then I stayed there for 5-10 minutes, thought about my family and the values and everything. And something gave me the strength, like, no, maybe not today. And then instantly I get a text from someone who I've been in touch with on Facebook because I was trying to find a cheap place to stay at for another 2 weeks. And then I just get a message from her. She said, you're looking for a place for 2 weeks? You can come. You pay me $200, no problem. And I just felt this calling. I'm like, let's go. Let's follow this. You know, I'm not following what my mind is telling me to do, but let's see, let's go. What's happening here? And I go to her place. She has a room for me while she's She was crashing in the living room on the couch, but the room is all mine. But she ended up giving me that judgment-free space. She didn't judge me that I've quit my job. She didn't judge me that I'm homeless. She didn't judge me at all. Like, it was just a simple, deep connection. And she was a singer herself. She took me for open mics while she's singing and her buddies are playing instruments. And I loved. I became a tourist in the city again. I forgot that I'm actually from this city and what city has done to me. You know, again, I was blaming the city too. Now I'm observing myself. But that, having that free space, that safe space and judgment-free space, I was able to turn things around. I was there for 2 weeks and I felt like I was away from everything. And this just made me realize that that's all it was required for me to turn things around. Because 2 weeks after, my mom and dad and my uncle and aunt got on a conference call to talk to me. Because now they have heard everything, what I've been up to, homeless, jobless, going from one couch to hostel to another. And then they started saying, is like, we know that you want to be an actor, you want to be in this field, but you did give it a try for 2 years. And look where you're at. You're financially unstable, you're mentally unstable. They didn't say that, but I was feeling mentally unstable. And look at your resume. Pick up your resume. You have this accounting experience. You can go back to office job. And I still remember I would just like, I don't want to go to office job. Stop telling me I want to go back to office job. Fuck, I hate it. I can't. And a lot of back and forth. And then I just shut off the call. I just like, guys, I can't talk anymore. Give me a day to think about it. And while I went, again, there was a judgment-free space there. And I took upon myself. I'm like, okay, you know what? My parents are telling me something. And what the assumption I made was that they're thinking that it will be so hard for me to get a job. But then I took it as a challenge just to show them that how easy it is for me. And then I turned it around. Within the next week, I applied for like 70, 80 jobs on LinkedIn, but really like worked on my resume first and applied the jobs. And then I had my interviews lined up. And that one interview kind of changed my perspective on corporate jobs, because that interviewer didn't ask about my work experiences really. He really was genuinely having the conversation we're having right now about my life. Like, you know, what is my story? And I think that's where I felt that I'm a storyteller, because how beautifully I was able to articulate just because someone asked me the right question. If they would have asked me about my work experiences, I would have been not authentic, just like on the surface. But we went in deep. And then he questioned me, he's like, I see that you quit your jobs a lot and you don't work somewhere for more than a year. And what's the reason? And then I'm like, I get bored. And then he said, then it's on us to keep you busy. And then he said, what else? And I'm like, I want to be an actor. And I want to keep on pursuing it. And he said, sure. He's like, just give me your 7 hours in a day, irrespective of whatever time it is. And you keep going on auditions, keep pursuing your goals. So that, again, I felt understood. Because my thing was that I always felt misunderstood. So this stranger understood me. This new interviewer who was a stranger understood me. And then the things were turning around. And that stability part of it, the ripple effect, which I talked in the first interview as well, then it just started building up and up and up. And now I'm at a point that I just gave my resignation letter today to that job, because the purpose has been served. And now I'm pushing myself even further. So that was again going back to that judgment-free space, and then just to feel that someone understands you, you know. And what I want to tell the 2018 me who had this thought of just jumping into the water and killing himself, I just want to say that this conscious and judgment-free community does exist. And you just have to immerse yourself into it. And nothing you're going to achieve by secluding yourself. Because you secluding yourself, pushing people away, which I did, you're just closing your heart. And now that I'm doing so much work, and now I'm observing my mind a lot, it just makes me realize that just the distinction between when I close my heart versus when my heart is open and how I feel. And it's amazing how I feel. I radiate energy. And and then I feel it, and even people around me feel it. But when I close my heart, mine takes over. That devil takes over. And that's exactly what was happening to me in 2018. I closed my heart. So open your heart, man. That's what I want to tell. That's what I want to tell you. Keep your heart open at all times. And this judgment-free, this conscious community does exist.
My traveling journey started earlier this year with Tulum, Mexico. And I'm here to share my journey from a monologue to a dialogue.